Okay.
Mhm.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andreas Diaz. Today, for the Marvel Plus channel, this is episode 8, Marvel's Borrowed Talk of WandaVision, and titled the Previously On. So, today, I'm with my co host, Will.
Hey, how you doing, Andres?
Pretty good so far. And wow, one more episode, and we're done.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think this episode um got us to like answer certain things that we need to know before the series ends, and
Right.
there's certain ones that we have yet answer, which we're gonna get in the final episode. So overall thoughts, what do you think about this episode, Will?
I really liked that it was more like character driven. Um,
Yes, I
I,
agree.
I just I really liked diving into Wanda's like psyche. Um, I feel like the MCU as a whole like misses a lot of character moments, especially for characters like Scarlet Witch and Vision, who
Mhm.
don't get as much screen time as the people that are like headlining their own movie series.
Yes.
Um, so I think this episode was like the perfect um, showcase for what these Disney Plus series could be, because it really like delved into the character and kind of gave them more depth than they had previously.
Yeah, I totally agreed. And like it gave Wanda and Vision personalities we never seen before in the movies. Just like we just saw like bits of it, but like not fully, like in
Right.
this series, right? And and um and I kind of like how we got into more detail about the stuff that we learned about Wanda's history.
Mhm.
It was kind of cool to see the early experiment that she and her brother went through in Hydra. So it was kind of cool here, just seeing her, not
Yeah.
the brother, but like it was cool to see that. And it was intriguing, and I love how they tie up the whole sitcom thing with her. Like it's actually personal, and that's like something I never expected before. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And and of course, for me, I was so happy about Agnes in this episode.
Uh,
Yeah. Uh, and it just getting confirmed that she's the main villain, and honestly, when we get to towards the end, it was kind of cool to hear the name finally for
right.
Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch.
After she was introduced almost 6 years ago.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know. It's crazy. So, I okay. Let's. There was a lot going on with this, especially Wanda. And where do you want to go to talk about Will? Because there was just like, you want to get into Ampix a little bit, and like,
Yeah. Let's talk about
yeah,
Agatha.
yeah. So after the finally we got, we all knew, I mean, it wasn't not like they did. I mean, I was happy they didn't hide it. I like
Yeah.
how they tease us, and I like how I was not expecting about the opening of the Salem witch trials of this opening uh episode, and I love how the logo of Mono Studios changed to purple to represent her, hex power. That
Yeah.
was so cool, and I think that really show you how like it's showing you like her origin and how she became. So
Hmm.
um and then show how she got the was it the her mom's necklace or like
Yeah.
right?
That pendant that she's been wearing the whole series.
Yeah,
It
I
was
that was a
from her mom.
nice,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a neat detail. And by the way, I was shocked about how like I was expecting was it like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or like or like Charm or any like fantasy scene like corpses like when the
Right. Yeah.
witches sort of like it's almost like life force. I
Uh
don't know,
huh.
you see that movie like where like the whole people's energy gets sucked up and like they're like just like skeleton like. I was
Hmm.
shocked that they actually did it in this show and the MCU. Um,
Yeah.
um, So, anything you want to bring up with the opening scene?
Um, I don't know. They were like trying her for using like some kind of dark magic. I kind of wish they would go into that a little bit more, like what she
Mm,
did.
yeah,
Um,
I, it, I think, like, I think it's kind of interesting. We talk about like before, like the gray area that this show is doing,
mhm.
and I kind of like they did that with Attica because it seemed like she didn't know how to control her power, and then they're punishing her for something that she wasn't able to do, like, you know,
Mm.
to
Yeah,
contain it, and
yeah. I was under the impression that she was like pretending to um,
oh
not be able to control it or like not understand it.
yeah,
But it was ambiguous though. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
um, yeah. We still don't know what's her end game. I'm
yeah,
trying. Like, we know she wants something from Scarlet Witch.
right. And I still think it involves the kids.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
I
I'm just
I'm just I'm having doubts about that because of the way she really, like, I don't know, like, strong arm Scarlet Witch, and like I have a feeling like she's using the children, like she's the one projecting the children, not Wanda, like how she did in the comics. I think that could happen.
hmm, it's
Like,
possible.
yeah, because the thing is with like how that's supported is because Attica has more experience with her powers. Like when we cut back to the final scene of episode 7, where Wanda is in the basement,
Hmm.
and like she just has this monologue of how, oh, you're not the only witch in this universe, and
Right.
like she's just like showing her their powers, and like like showing her those like symbols on the up the
Yeah,
roof.
the runes. Yeah.
Yeah, and like for me, I mean, of course, it could be Wanda's, like she created the children as well, because like her, like it was like I was surprised she created Vision,
Mhm.
out of the bloom,
Yeah.
and and so, like, yeah, there's just a lot of things they didn't confirm yet, and that's like a little tough to talk about.
Hmm.
So, um, but yeah, I think well, we didn't have Monica here in this episode either, so
Right. Yeah, it
I
was entirely um, within the hex.
uh yeah, I would say it was kind of funny to see a rabbit eating um
A
a,
cicada.
yeah, it's okay. It was pretty gnarly and cute, I would say. I want that bunny. Anyway,
Okay.
so okay, let's get into like the first, like, how I say, um like
Flashback.
visiting. Huh? Oh, sorry.
Flashback. The
Yeah,
first.
flashback.
Okay.
Yeah, and we go first as we got before in Age of Ultron, how Wanda and like Pedro were like hit by a rocket
Yeah.
of the Stark Enterprise. We see it here in this episode, and that was very cool. And like it was very cool to see the parents. Like it was interesting seeing like the sitcoms was the thing that like reminded her about her happy life before tragedy happens to her.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think, Will, about that
Um,
detail?
yeah, I liked that as a kid, sitcoms were like an escape from the civil war that was happening around her,
Yeah,
and that she like continued to use that as a coping mechanism, like
yeah,
as tragedies kept happening to her. Um, I thought it like really gave a reason for like the show to exist. Um, and I think it was a really nice touch, and it adds a lot of depth to the story that's been unfolding throughout the series.
yeah. And I like how we still keep showing the sitcom thing as important to her throughout
Hmm.
the flashbacks we get. It's not contained to this one flashback.
Right, she's
And
watching it in all
yeah, and different areas of the
Yeah.
sitcoms.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was interesting because this first flashback had the Drew Carey show that was in black and white.
The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God, thank you. Oh dear, that's going to 90s there. um, yeah, so we got the Dick Van uh, Dyke show,
Mhm.
and then in the second flashback with Hydra, we got I think the Brady Bunch. If I'm
Yeah, I think it was the Brady Bunch.
yeah, because I don't know that one kid in the Brady Bunch doesn't like her older sister, just getting her attention. Um, what's her name? Not Marshall.
I've never seen the Brady Bunch before.
Really?
Yeah.
You never seen the Brady Bunch?
No, yeah. I don't know how, but
Have you seen the movies? You have to see the movies. Oh
I
my
haven't. But yeah, no, it's definitely something I'd be interested in watching.
uh
Just because it's like classic pop culture.
yeah, I'm trying. I think okay. It should be Jane or Cindy. It's one of
Okay.
those. Uh, that was the little kid. Um, but yeah, and then the last one we saw with the Avengers compound, where Vision, I kind of like how the Avengers one flashback was like the one he kind of like walked through the walls, as we mentioned before. Like in Civil War, she say we
Hmm.
talked about this. Don't
Right.
Yeah, I love they paid that off. That was so wonderful. She was watching. Was
Malcolm in the
that
Middle.
yes?
Yeah.
And oh my god, yeah. Well, yeah, it's because my favorite line is Vision. Like, it's funny because he was getting hurt, and then and I love the response from Wanda, like, no, it's not real. He's not really hurt, and and I just, oh my god, that was one of my favorite moments of this episode. And just showing like um the gap that we didn't see them develop as a couple, and that
Yeah.
was the thing I appreciate about that flashback.
Yeah. You could
Um,
really see them like developing feelings for each other.
yes. And then let's kind of now we jump to that, but let's go back to like the Hydra flashback,
Yeah.
because I want to get to you opinion, Will. Like, are they retconning Scarlet Witch origin? Like is she like a witch, or she's going to be a mutant? Like, I'm curious about your opinion,
Um.
because that flashback confirmed, not like it confirmed that it's going to be a change in her origin story.
Yeah. It seemed like they were saying that she already had power, and then the Mind Stone just kind of amplified it.
Hmm. Yes. Okay. Um. That's interesting. And how the heck Quicksilver enhanced his powers? Oh God.
Yeah.
I. I
I
don't know.
It could be that they're mutants. It's too early to tell.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It's I hate about this with the cinematic universe. It's like I want the mutants already, so we can get that over with. And like
yeah. I
it's
just
like
as long as they like, um, I don't know. I don't want them to rush it. I don't want them to like
no, no,
clumsily do it. So if
no.
they're like taking their time to do it right, that's fine. That's
Hmm. Like, I don't know. It's tough for me. Like, for me, I want them to do it creatively. If like my mind is just introduce retcon Wanda to be a mutant, and then have one of these characters that are not mutants in the comic books make them mutants. Like, a good example of that for me is Kamala Khan for Miss
right.
Marvel,
Yeah,
because in the comics she's the Inhuman,
right.
and
And hopefully we aren't referencing the Inhuman show.
no,
So
folks, that's just in the comics. We're not messing the show. Um,
no, I just like hopefully the MCU won't acknowledge it.
no, no,
Although
they're
Inhumans were also in Agents of Shield.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. So
I
it, we'll see if they treat Agents of Shield as canon. I have a feeling they won't.
um I hope they give Daredevil a knowledge in Spider-Man 3
Yeah,
this December. That's the thing.
we'll
It's like,
see.
and the thing about this show had Evan Pierce, and like they opened the door of that.
Yeah,
That's like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like kind of tough for me and you and everyone to like, okay, what's
yeah,
it's it's all speculation, right?
right.
So I mean, so it could be either a mutant, but like, it could be that, as you say before, Will, like it's okay. She has already like a source of power already. It's just that the Mind Stone, like you're saying, amplify it, and so and honestly, towards the end when Attica, say like chaos magic, and then and her, saying the you are the Scarlet Witch. It's interesting. It's almost like she's like the Phoenix, and like she,
Yeah,
yeah,
it does remind me a lot of the Phoenix Force.
yeah. So it's kind of, I mean, and that's the thing. They're diluting a little bit of the X-Men, and I mean, like subtly, not obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, but yeah, it was very interesting. See that, uh, and then what else? And then I guess the last flashback we saw was her visiting the sword department. What do you think about that?
I thought it was a great reveal that she didn't actually steal Vision and that she didn't attack anyone, but that
Yeah,
Hayward had used that footage to like manipulate everyone into thinking that she had.
yeah.
Um,
That was the big twist
yeah,
of the show. Yeah, I was surprised about that. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that Hayward is like one. He's like the main villain stringing this along with.
I think he wanted Wanda to resurrect Vision
Mm, okay.
because like he really wants Vision to be that like perfect sentient weapon, and he's the one that put the idea in her head. Like she just came there to bury him, and he was like, "Are you sure you aren't here to bring him back to life?"
Yeah.
Um, I think that's the reason he like allowed her to see Vision.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting. I There's a lot about that last flashback that
mhm.
like totally like switch like what we were thinking or perceived that we thought that it was they were going to, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
And I really like that. I really like that they like did like a switcheroo and like show, oh, no, this is not how it actually happened. I like that.
mhm.
um I mean, and I also like how, I mean, like it it kind of show more of like Hayward, like what happened with Endgame, and like how mentally had affected some people that like were not blip. And so I'm curious why Hayward is doing this, and what he's gaining at to make this new version of Vision as a weapon, and like, is it to combat the next Thanos, or what is it? I'm
Mhm.
curious about his motivation moving
Yeah,
forward. uh and uh yeah, then she walks to her car and drive to Westfield, and and it was kind of cool. I don't know, you noticed the little reference of Exosaur in uh her plate. I don't know, you saw
no,
it?
I didn't register that.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that was really cool. I love that reference. Actually, speaking of um, reference, uh, I mean, we mentioned before the Silent Witch trials. We mentioned that was pretty cool,
Hmm.
and then what else we got here? Uh, the part it really hex. Thinking. one of those Loki. Of course, we saw again Loki's scepter
Hmm.
from the Avengers, and then the Scarlet Witch, like full on helmet and costume. When Wanda
Yeah.
had that vision, that was really cool and interesting.
Hmm.
So, like again, like doing that kind of Dark Phoenix kind of vibe
Yeah.
to Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. I wonder
Um,
what that was about. Like,
yeah, um, like I mean, because Agnes, Africa, you know, finally figures out why Wanda is so powerful. Because she mentions because she wields the chaos magic.
right.
Okay, and then I'm looking at this information. It's associated with the older god named Chintan, and then he's used to rule the earth until he was banished. So industry, and he's kind of like a forgotten earth sorcerers and stuff like that. And yeah, and the Doctor Strange initially believed the chaos magic just a figment of Wanda's imagination. Hmm, interesting. So yeah, and then of course the Scarlet Witch name was a big deal, and if you know her name, I mean, if you should know her name in the comics, Scarlet Witch.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I mean, so that last flashback was very interesting. I love how like they were showing us like the people that were in Westwood and the ones we didn't see. Particularly Dottie, we didn't see in that. Um,
Yep.
yeah, pre reality sitcom, and then it was just interesting that she has this map to go to this one location,
Yeah.
and what do you think about that? Like,
Well, there was a note on the map uh, that said like a place to grow up or to grow old in, and
yes,
it was signed with a V. So it looks like Vision bought them a house to like build together,
yeah,
which
I,
is just extra tragic.
I know. Why?
Yeah,
Oh my god! And you're thinking it's not like after doing that, like tricking her with that note,
yeah,
because what do you think? It's not after that tricking her to go to that location?
could be.
Mm, okay.
Um,
Um,
although it seems like Agatha like wasn't aware of, or she was aware of Wanda beforehand, but she wasn't like
mhm.
actively seeking her until after she created the hex, because she said something about wanting to figure out, or like her whole thing was like wanting to figure out how Wanda cast so many spells at the same time and how she was keeping them all active.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
so I think Wanda created the hex and then Agatha showed up.
Mm, that's true. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, that was the part where I'm saying that maybe she's using the tuna as like a bait to control Wanda and like trying to find out how she's doing that and like
Yeah,
because she's trying to get her be more happy and instead of going to like the depression route as she's been she constantly say, oh, stop being mopey or like or dire and stuff like that.
yeah,
um yeah, it was very interesting. And of course, we see her do the full on hex, and it was really interesting seeing her create the house and then re like just literally creating a version of Vision out of the
yeah.
blue. I was
Out of
like,
the like yellow Mind Stone energy too.
yeah, that's so. Yeah, so all of that was like, oh wow, so like this is really shocking. Um, and then after that, we cut to her going out, um, like outside, and then we see for, after she gets kind of cut out with the flashback after we see the 50s sitcom and
Hmm.
how it got all together, and then Anthika disappears, and then she hears Wanda hears the children screaming, and then we see Anthika with a full witch costume and
Right.
holding the kids and like in the neck side, and then it's just wow. And then you know talking to Wanda and like her trying to calm her kids and stuff like that. It was a very intense scene, and like, oh my god, like what's she gonna do? And like, and then of course she, as you're mentioning for like how she's creating all these big magic spells and then dropping the name Scarlet Witch. Like,
Yep.
what do you think of that moment, Will?
I mean, it was a great reveal. It was
Oh my god.
intense. I'm just excited for next week.
Oh my god. Me too. And especially the mid credit scene. That I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, okay, something's going on. So it was cool to see Attica in her full, costume and her, so I was very happy. And Catherine, the actress Catherine,
Catherine Hahn, yeah.
yeah, kind of Hannah. She was incredible in this episode, and she did a really good job of being funny and being sinister at the same time, and I love that.
Yes.
And I was worried about her. Like she voiced Olivia Octavius and the Spider-Verse, and
Right, yeah.
and she was great there, and I was concerned like how they're gonna make Attica be evil, and here they just like this episode was not only Wanda but also Attica as well simultaneously, and it's like they nailed it. It was really great. And so I don't think there's no other source of villains. I feel like Attica is really the main villain,
And Hayward, yeah.
and Hayward is the like secondary antagonist of the show. So
Yeah.
because I'm not like I don't know if this show is gonna just do any Doctor Strange stuff. Probably towards the end of the next episode we're gonna get on Friday maybe, but we don't know. So we cut to the episode, and then we get to the mid credit scene. And well, what do you think about the mid credit scene?
That was a cool reveal. Oh man. Having Wanda have to fight the like white vision is gonna be just rough emotionally.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Messed up.
I'm kind of hoping that the like energy version of Vision that's in the Hex right now will be able to like enter Vision's old body and be resurrected. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I mean, it could happen. I mean,
Yeah.
Darcy can maybe help and say you can like morph into one, and that could be interesting. Yeah, I'm very curious. And he looked great in the white vision. Like,
Yeah, that was cool.
yeah, and like his hand was like very real, and it was creepy. Like, oh man, he reminded me of like iRobot with Sunny.
Yeah.
It was like really like AI, artificial intelligence level. If you get that reference, folks, AI, artificial intelligence movie by Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
Another creepy movie, but I also love. Anyway, yeah, and I never thought about like Hayward was like two steps ahead or like one step ahead of everyone. Like he knew probably the stuff that gets affected by the hex will be energized, and like he just had the perfect moment, and it's like I don't know, like it's just crazy. And I'm curious, like I'm curious what's gonna happen towards the end of the series. Like, you think we're gonna see? Okay, first off, are we gonna see any major surprises? We're gonna see, like, you think Doctor Strange, or
I know that Paul Bettany has been talking about there's an actor in the show
yes,
that he was really excited to work with, and it isn't anyone we've seen yet. So
okay,
there is someone coming up.
yes, okay.
I have no clue who it would be, though.
I know, like, okay, so we can just take off Benedict Cumberbatch because he worked for him in Infinity War, right? I mean, not in the same scene, but like,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it could be that, right? Because he hasn't had a chance to work with him, and so
Could be.
A crazy idea I have is Magneto. It could be
Okay.
mm, it could be. Um, I'm trying to figure out, is it the older Ian McKellen or the younger Michael
Michael
Fassbender?
Fassbender.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they do that, I will scream out of my tongue. They bring those two into this universe, and I'll be so happy.
Hmm.
I'm a big X-Men fan, and I like those actors as Magneto, and I
Yeah,
think
they're
that'd
very
be,
good.
and that will confirm our theories that, okay, they're recounting their origin stories and that they're mutants, right? And this, I mean, whatever,
Hmm.
that could be that. I, I think that's really it. I don't know who else. Like, I mean, not the scrolls. That doesn't make sense. Um, yeah. Or it could bring an actor is going to play the major villain for Doctor Strange, and that he's excited to see this actor be in this show, and like, I don't know, that could be another possibility.
Yeah.
Um, and then I don't know. That's my theory. Any other theories you think of? Who's going to pop up in next
No,
episode?
I have no idea.
Okay, you're just
I'm
gonna
I'm
stick.
excited to be surprised. Yeah.
That's true. All right. Well, I hopefully you can just annoy the stuff I'm saying right now because
Yeah, yeah.
I'm setting myself too high with my expectations. Uh, but hopefully hopefully it is a big surprise. And I'll be shocked that I got it right. I'll be just laughing out loud about that anyway. And I'm really excited to see how we're going to pick up Monica, because that's another one I'm really, really excited to see again, um, and see her moving forward, and in Captain Marvel 2, and like what's going to be like. And so yeah. So we does is there anything else we had to mention besides that? Um, I
I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. I think we're good. We cover everything that we discuss. Um, any comedic lines or
I
uh,
really it wasn't a comedic line, but Vision's line that like what is grief if not love persevering?
mm,
That was a great
yes,
line.
I love that line. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's very
Vision has a very uh, perceptive understanding of human emotion for a robot.
yeah. But I kind of like that. He's like the
Yeah,
opposite of Spock from Star Trek.
right. Yeah,
And if they're gonna recast Spock, I think Paul Bettany should be the next actor for that. I think he could
okay.
be a great Spock.
Yeah, I think Zachary Quinto isn't going to give it up anytime soon. But
No, no, of course not. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I totally agree. I love that line. It just shows how, like, it just shows. It just continues to show how Vision is like more human than anyone else in
Mhm.
this universe. Really, like he's like the purest human in society, and like he's a android, and like that's very interesting. And I will say, I was kind of sad to see him like in the White Vision, that's from the comics, and like him being used as a weapon. I did feel really sad to see that,
Yeah,
and I hope as well, Will, that the version of Vision in the heads can get that body and be free, and
yeah.
like I hope so. Um, yeah. So I think that's it. Well, this is pretty much a wrap up for episode 8, spoiler talk of WandaVision. Thank you, Will, for joining.
Yeah, thank you for
Um,
having me.
yeah, no problem. And no way, folks. Next week we're going to talk about the series finale of WandaVision,
Oh,
and I'm very excited slash sad it's coming to the end. But we got more Marvel Disney Plus shows to discuss, in the future. So let's get excited for this series finale. I'm very excited for it. Um, and so, no further ado, just hit the subscribe button and have a nice weekend, you guys. Bye. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Andreas Diaz. Today is the WandaVision spoiler talk on the series finale of WandaVision, episode 9. Of course, I say it properly titled the series finale. Today, I'm with my co-host, Will.
Hey Andres, how you doing?
Pretty good. Just, man, we're here. We're in the
Yeah.
end game. Oh my god. So, well, folks, this is the last, I mean, not the last episode for us to talk about Disney Plus shows, but this is the last episode for WandaVision. And I would say, well, was a spectacular episode. Um, I mean, it delivered what a series finale should do. And I'll say I was very impressed. How about you, Will?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I was kind of glad they kept it a little small. Like it was still like a big superhero finale, but they kept it more like grounded and personal. They didn't try to like um, show up the rest of the show. Like it felt like a natural progression from like the previous episodes. So that was good.
Yeah, and it was also the natural conclusion for the characters.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Like I thought the emotional conclusion was really good.
Yes, I totally agree. I was very happy for the small scale. Um it just fit right with the show and what they were doing with the show. And
Yeah.
we'll discuss either or not the show satisfy us with theories, but we'll discuss that later on. But um man, yeah, I totally agree with what you were saying. I think this episode made me appreciate uh what they were trying to do. I appreciate now the sitcom stuff they did. I think that was the most successful thing they did for this
Mhm.
whole series. And they gave us uh enough surprises that I wasn't suspecting. And we'll discuss, like, some of the, like, everyone's been, somewhat disappointed with the way how this show went with some of the theories. But I mean, naturally, this is the MCU. There's so many things that are coming out
Mhm.
after the show that, like, I was just being very skeptic and careful what they were trying to do. And I was very happy this show still stayed with the character driven kind of show it was.
Right.
So that was the thing I was very happy about. So I didn't care about the theories, or like the speculation what was going to happen in the MCU. I was very happy they were sticking with the character driven stuff.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you know,
like,
you know,
speculation's always fun, but it is just speculation. It's weird when people start like expecting their theories to come true. Like,
yes,
like you didn't write the show, you don't know what's gonna happen.
yeah,
Um, just kind of go along for the ride.
yeah.
And,
That's what I want for my show, and that's what I
yeah,
got.
yeah,
And I totally agree. I like, we knew Amphex was Arthur Harkness in this show, but I just love how the way they did it.
yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, I totally agree. But let's kind of let's get into, like, Harkness and her role in this show. I will say out of the bat that I think uh, Catherine, she was the MVP of this show. I feel like she's the best MCU villain we had. She had the right amount of um, theatricality, but also just intrigue. And I feel like this show did a really good job of handling her character.
Yeah, I liked her a lot, so I can agree with that. I don't know if I'd say she's the best villain or like the best part of the show, but
Mm.
I liked her a lot. Yeah. Um, I
Yeah.
think we got to give props to Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany for being
Yes,
part of
I
the
agree.
show.
No, they're
Um,
they're they're the best, and I love this show because they made me appreciate them as actors.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. But,
and I mean, when we get to Vision, I mean, that this episode, like I really appreciate how Vision ended, and like I like the resolution
Mhm.
of what happened to him, but also setting up the future of this new version of maybe Vision that we're gonna
Yeah,
get. So, but yeah, what do you think about what do you think about the White Vision stuff? Well,
I thought it was handled really well. I just I don't know who would be like in charge of this, but just props to whoever was coordinating the Vision versus Vision fight because there was a lot of really cool uses of his powers in that.
mhm.
It just specifically like when he would phase through things or like phase through the other Vision. That's really cool. Um, but also just like I liked that it was resolved with like a philosophical discussion instead of
No,
just more punching. Like
I was so surprised. I was shocked they went
it's
to the
very in
library.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I I that was the part that I love about this finale. Like every character was, consistent.
Mhm.
And sometimes we don't do that a lot. And I always really appreciate that the characters we had in this show were very consistent from the previous films, but also the new ones we got were consistent throughout the show. And so, yeah, I love the Vision stuff here, and I love that like his conversation with the White Vision was, if philosophy discussion, and I really appreciate that. And admire of his talk to Ultron in Age of
Right.
Ultron, and that I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought White Vision looked cool too.
yeah. I was going to
Um,
ask you, do you enjoy his design, the White Vision?
yeah, I thought it was cool. I like that he had the little like microchip looking thing instead of a mind stone.
Yeah,
I thought once he got his like more human eyes back, it looked kind of goofy at the very
yeah,
end.
yeah.
But
I don't know. I appreciate. I don't know. I like the White Vision over the original Vision for some
really,
reason. I
yeah,
just maybe it's just they toned down the Vision's color palette. The green and red, and I feel like the White Vision's color palette was just so more like striking and a little more appealing.
yeah, I get that. It like pops more on the screen.
Yeah. I don't know. He just he just felt like more like a like it just gave me the vibes of an AI, which it was kind of cool,
Hmm.
and that was the thing. But I appreciate. I like how we kind of of course we know in the comics, when they were trying to revive Vision, they usually try to connect him with Wonder Man or like try to get him from in one of these attempts they were trying to get another parallel universe of a Vision from a multiverse and tried to merge him into this old Vision they had. And it was cool how this the Vision that wanted to create in the hex able to like get his memories into that this built Vision from Sword,
Yeah,
and I like
he was able
how
to restore the memory.
exactly. And so I'm very intrigued what we're gonna get next. I mean, yeah, I mean, after he left, I was like, where are we gonna get him? I mean, maybe Doctor
Yeah,
Strange, maybe, but I don't know.
yeah, maybe they're planning to do like another not another season, but another series about
Mm,
Wanda and Vision
yeah,
down the road.
yeah.
Um,
I agreed. Hopefully season two,
yeah,
or
well, I think you can't have the same like premise as this
no,
one, so that you might need to make just a different show about the characters. But
that's true. Well,
yeah,
I
I
was
hope they do more. Like, I hope they do another project where Scarlet Witch is the main focus
mm,
because she's just such an interesting character. She's been before this pretty underutilized. So
no, I agree. Um, I mean, I was thinking about this. Like this, they have a lot of material they could go through. I mean, this was a very cool way to be creative and make like like a comic book mini series, right?
mhm.
And I think you can easily do the Tom King, like loosely based. the Vision series. We can do that now.
Mhm.
Now that we got like a new version of a Vision, and like we can do something about that, and then and without using Scarlet Witch, like I think we can do that, or they can now do properly a series called the Vision and Scarlet Witch,
Right.
like the comic book series,
Yeah.
which I'm you know creating in the Marvel Plus channel. If you guys check that out, there's 2 volumes of it from 1982, and then from volume 2 is 1985. Like they can make a series called the Vision and Scarlet Witch now, you know.
Mhm.
And so because they just made a show, they completely made a new show that merges all the various storylines of both of them from the comics. So I could see them doing now finally a Vision Scarlet Witch, So
Mhm.
and speaking of Scarlet Witch, I mean, for me, I totally agree with you, Will. Not only that, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany were like just amazing throughout the series. I was so happy that this episode we finally got the Scarlet Witch. And
Mhm.
let's kind of get into that. Like, what do you think about all that? Like they definitely went to retconning, Wanda's, like history, and now she's a witch. Like, I, I mean, and I love her costume. By the way,
Yes.
that's finally we got a comic
Really
book.
cool.
Oh my god! And the hoodie she had towards the end, it was
Mhm.
so comic booky. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, we think about her transformation, Will, in this whole series, and just and her, and also the way she defeated, Harkness was really cool, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, great payoff. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think about Scarlet Witch and like her progression in this show?
Yeah. Well, I was just really glad that we got like time to actually develop her as a character.
Yes.
Um, she's like barely in 3 Marvel movies. Um,
Yeah.
so it was just good to have time to like focus on her and like her like personality and her backstory, just like emotional drives. Um, I liked seeing that develop. Um,
Yeah. um. Okay. I guess it's my turn to talk.
yeah, sure.
No, let's like you mentioned how underutilized she was. We have to think that for the 3 appearances she has, that they really set up certain things that this show did, pick up. And I mean, I think for me, I put her in a category. She had the potential to explore more, and the movies show a little bit of what they can do if they did like a movie or something in like the Disney Plus we had with WandaVision to focus
Mhm.
on her. And I think because a lot of characters in the MCU are underutilized, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Right, yeah.
of course, they're ironically they're gonna come after this show, they were underutilized, and I don't know, and then who else was? I mean, War Machine was that,
Yeah.
so
Hawkeye, all the people that are getting their own shows, yeah.
yes, exactly, and I and I I mean with Scarlet Witch, she was never like underutilized. It was just like it's like her like the way she was introduced in this universe was like kind of awkward because she was she was a mutant, and a lot of people were questioning it and like how you're gonna like handle that. And of course, they handled it very well in Age of Ultron, I want to say, and but this series just like did a good job of showing Scarlet Witch as a person, and
Right.
not a plot device, what she was in Civil War and then Infinity War,
Yeah.
but more so in Civil War because she was like the thing that started the Accords and stuff like that,
Right.
and so and I really like I feel like it was just the first time finally that Melissa Olsen just like unleashed her acting chops, and same thing with Paul Bettany as well,
Mhm.
of just conveying so much emotion and just pathos to this character that she's she's having over this last 4 or 5 years or 6 years. She's been on the screen, and it's incredible. And and the final, like her saying goodbye to Vision again properly, and it was just very heartbreaking, and just it was just too much. And I'm very excited for her appearance in Doctor Strange. I'm very
Mhm.
curious about when we discuss in the mid-credit scene. I'm like kind of curious what's going on. I was very satisfied, and I was very happy that she's now become the Scarlet Witch, and finally becoming that superhero we know from the comics.
Yeah.
Um, and oh, and very quickly, like I'm very happy the show did a good job of handling the gray area. That's something that people don't talk about. Like I like that Harkness wasn't like the villain. Like the reason I call her the best villain is that they did a good job of showing that okay, she was doing what's the word, malevolent things, but she was doing it because she saw Scarlet Witch as a threat.
Right.
As she was trying to explain, she was using cans and magic, and then towards the end of the series finale, she mentioned that you don't know what you just released, and
Mhm.
and so and it was interesting how Scarlet Witch, continuing to be this gray area as a superhero. She'd like, put Harkness into this, uh, being the noisy neighbor,
Right.
like real, and it was like really scary.
Yeah. The
And
line, like, she's like, "I'm sorry," and then Agatha's like, "You're not sorry. You're cruel." That was
yeah,
that was good stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's like terrifying. She has the power to just completely rewrite someone. And I liked that the townspeople were like mad at her and scared of her.
yeah.
They didn't like forgive her for what she did. I was a little annoyed that the only like reaction we actually got to see was Monica's, and she was like, "They'll never know what you sacrificed." Like, I
Mm,
mean,
right. Uh,
you did just like mind control them for a week. Um, like, you, I don't know. It felt like too like
it's
forgiving of Wanda.
okay. So yeah, I do agree with that. What you're saying, Will. I feel like I I don't have a problem with that because at least Harkness like commented about that, and then and two, the thing about what I was saying about consistency, Wanda did say like she knows, like she said to us that you know she knows that these people will never forgive her, and
Yeah,
like I
no,
appreciate the knowledge of that.
yeah.
Sometimes we
I
don't do
just,
that, and I get what you're saying that we need more reaction from the people.
yeah, I would have liked to have shown that they're like, it's like understandable and acceptable that they wouldn't forgive her for that. Because the
Yeah,
only characters that we got the like actual vocalized perspective of after it ended were people that were either Wanda or Monica who
Monica. Yeah,
forgave her.
yeah. Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I did get the feeling that like Wanda knew that what she had done was bad. So like
Yeah,
we got that at least.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
and then
figuratively, they could have hammered home the reality of what she did a little harder.
yeah. And also like there was so many things they had to do in this finale, and I don't know where you could put that in action with the Westwood people and like what they think. I mean the moment when Harkness like how you say awoken the Westwood people,
Yeah, yeah,
and like that was like kind of that moment, but like
yeah.
but it wasn't.
I would have liked to have that like after the final battle as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agreed. I agree. You know what? Let's kind of get into nitpicks and like. not like, I don't want to say disappointments, but like nitpicks of the show. Will, what were certain of the things you did not care about in the series finale, and like, and just like what they were going for the series, like what were, because let's kind of get into some of the
Yeah.
things that, you know, we
Um,
didn't like.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure what Agatha's like
Mm,
goal was. Like, I know
yes.
she wanted to figure out like how Wanda was creating the hex and like if Wanda knew what she was doing. But throughout it, it seemed like there were specific things that she was trying to get done. Um,
Hmm.
like in the 80s episode where she was like hyper fixated on Wanda, like possibly being able to bring people back to life. But just like why was she manipulating Wanda in those certain ways?
Yeah.
Like I guess she was trying to like get Wanda to like notice that reality had changed, that she was like controlling it, but it felt like it wasn't fully fleshed
I-
out, like why she was going about it the way she was going about it.
yeah, and I yeah, and that's where I think I kind of agree with you, Will, about best villain. Like, could we ever call Harkness a villain? Because, like,
I mean, she was trying to get Scarlet Witch's power for herself, which
yeah,
feels
that's true.
villainous.
Um,
But yeah, it was never like stated like why she wanted to do that, like what she
sh-
wanted to do with that power,
yeah,
other
or
than
her
just
end
have
game.
it. Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
I
uh
yeah, I well, I mean, I don't know, like, well, the fact we didn't kill her off, which I was worried about.
yeah,
When Scarlet Witch did the, like the symbols in the, the hex, and
yeah.
tried to,
That was,
amplify her powers, which was a cool moment.
I really love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like worried about when she was getting her powers back and sucking her energy. I was like, oh, no, 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 please don't kill her because I love her. And then they did it. I was like, oh my god, thank you, guys.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're gonna bring her back.
Yeah, and look, and we're getting to get Scarlet Witch, um, fully in Doctor Strange, because Spider-Man 3 could be just a cameo to set up, preceding Doctor Strange, right? Of, what the multiverse is, and etc., right? And and Scarlet Witch, and I say, like, I think Artemis could come back in Doctor Strange into the multiverse of madness.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. So I'm very curious about where she's gonna go after that series. Um, okay, and then I mean, you mentioned Monica, right?
Yeah,
What do you think about Quicksilver and his role in this show as well? Because that's something a lot of people were disappointed.
yeah. I mean, I personally was fine with it. Um, like there's a certain like method of casting roles where you like cast an actor because they have a specific like persona that they bring to any role that they have. And I I really love the like meta-ness of casting Evan Peters as a fake Quicksilver
Hmm.
to like dupe the audience into thinking that it might actually be Quicksilver in a way that no other actor playing a fake Pietro like would have been able to do. I
No.
just think that's really like fun, clever, meta. Yeah. I hope it um, leads to something down the road, but I'm fine with it as is. If it doesn't, you know. Um,
And one thing I want to mention, you were right about he could be another Westwood resident, and it was like true.
yeah,
And one of the things I kind of like that is that he could be the person that Wu was trying to, you know, to find because he probably is the one that is in the witness protection, which we never get confirmed in the show at all. And
Well,
I
I think
think, what do you think?
Jimmy Woo didn't recognize him
Mm,
when they were watching WandaVision
right.
from the Sword headquarters. So I don't know if that would be the case, but um, yeah, it's
Yeah.
they could bring it back like
Well,
at
yeah.
some point. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
It was a little like I don't know. It was interesting how they did it. I don't know. I kind of wish he was like the Quicksilver from the another universe, but then it kind of just raised too many questions. I would say so. I don't know.
yeah, it would detract from the smaller scale story they were telling too. I think.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I feel like yeah, I think you're right. It could have been weird to do it at a large scale, but yeah,
If you're gonna like introduce the multiverse, like maybe not in a character-driven TV show.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, well, and this show, and I guess we have to say that this show wasn't really about the multiverse. It was
no,
pretty
not at
much
all.
no,
Yeah,
and I think it was more about just grief and facing reality, really. And I
yeah,
think it was kind of cool how they did that.
yeah. I
So
liked that it was more like
yeah,
character focused. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and oh my God, I can't speak today. Okay, so sorry, guys. Um, Then, um, so we covered that now. Let's get to Monica. What do you think about her? And like now, we kind of just, her powers are somewhat like fully developed, and of course the first, I think this is the first mid credit scene we got in this show, and it was like very cool. That was my favorite scene over the
Well,
second. Um, the one with the scroll, the first mini credit scene. I like that more than the second one what we got. So,
okay. Yeah. I don't know. I liked the
oh, you like the
second
second
one.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm more interested in Wanda than whatever's going on in space. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, like it's gonna depend on whoever's watching. But,
Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, I was just happy we're setting up Captain Marvel 2, and because we're at the time we were expecting the engineer, and we thought it was going to be either anyone, and
okay.
I mentioned a scroll, and then I was so happy that a scroll
Hmm.
came into the show, and of course you mentioned Nick Fury, and like he wants
Hmm.
her to join him, so that's cool, and that sets up that Nick Fury is going to be in Captain Marvel 2,
Or
and
they hadn't announced that Nick Fury would be getting a Disney Plus show too, the
yeah, the
Secret
Secret
Invasion.
Invasion. Yep.
So it could be setting up that as well.
Oh yes, that's true. Um, yeah, I'm curious where that show gonna be, like, before Captain Marvel 2 or after,
Yeah,
because
I'm
I'm curious
curious
about.
too.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. It was a cool reveal. I really like. I just love. I will say I was very happy to see like Monica getting a chance to be like her mom, and I did like I think Monica was the best thing about this show, and I really like her character. I think the actress did a really good job conveying you know so much emotion that this character needed to present in. And I love her moment with Wanda, and about how she will do the same thing to just bring back a loved one she truly missed, and I really love that scene. And so I think Monica was another character I really liked the show did. Um, I mean, there was a lot of characters they juggled this show, and I was very impressed. Some will not get the focus like the others, but I think this show did a really good job of it. And I was very happy where we left Darcy and Jimmy uh,
Hmm.
at the end. I think Jimmy had the best moments in this episode. I just love him now as a character.
Yeah,
And
I loved when he like got himself out of the handcuffs. And he was
Yes,
like flourish, like Vision did in episode 2. It's great.
yes, I totally agree. Oh my God, and he calls his friend, hey, wait, what's his name, Carter or something like that, or
Uh,
oh my God.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. He was calling one of his FBI friends, and he said, "Hey, can you be here within an hour?" It was so funny. I love that. That was a good joke, and it paid up very well. And I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get enough Darcy, but I kind of like how we ended her, and so
Yeah.
it was good. They totally redeemed both of these characters in my eyes in this show, and I hopefully I could see them again in one of these
Yeah.
movies or Disney Plus shows.
I'm sure they're gonna bring both of them back. They're very popular, so it's
Yeah, I mean, this show made them popular. I'm surprised they. I mean, again, this just shows how much Marvel Studios just does a good job of handling characters in general.
yeah.
Like, this something didn't work last time, they fix it, and that's something that I think some franchise needs to learn. You know, and improve their characters. Um, Okay, we now kind of covered the mid credit scene and the other supporting characters. Was there any else you want to bring up that we haven't mentioned? Oh, the kids. I guess
Yeah.
I would say the kids were great. Like I guess we knew they were fake. I mean, I don't know, you knew, but like I knew they were fake, and it was very impressive, but I don't know. You had that moment when when they were posing, they were like almost the Incredibles in that moment. I don't know. You had that moment.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
in the like central area of the town,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it was really cool. And um, yeah, and it was very like satisfying. Like and the way they were distinct, like how I say it, like they were like deconstructing when one that was opening the hex. It was like almost her, like the same image you see in the House of M, and how Wanda was like like almost almost like blipping like in the snap.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was surprised the children were fake. And we were talking about, it was kind of interesting. You mentioned how Harkness' plan wasn't clear enough. It was kind of
Yeah.
instant that the children weren't the
We're
factor of
part of
this.
it. Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that? Like, that.
Yeah. Well, I know like I personally had thought that they were going to be like central to her plans, and they weren't even like
Yeah,
an
I
issue. Um,
I was
yeah.
like, when you were,
Um,
yeah,
but
I
it's
I
fine.
I mean, I mean, what do I have to consider that COVID-19 happened? And I don't know, like there was like maybe initial episodes they had, and then I don't know if they knew that they're gonna have an X section episodes. Like they knew they were gonna have 9 episodes because
They must have known
right,
ahead of
I
time. Yeah, I don't know if
like
that would have affected anything.
mm,
It's
yeah,
probably just me like reading into stuff that they didn't intend, but
yeah. I
that's
mean,
fine.
yeah, that's all of us.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't intend either. What like I thought. Was it Dottie was supposed to be either like a Clea or for in Doctor Strange or
Yeah.
either one of the theories about Dottie was like she was Emma Frost from the X-Men and she was the one
Okay.
and that didn't like her
Yeah.
character didn't.
I was disappointed that she wasn't anything other than just a suburban mom. Like, because
Yeah,
that actress, like, is Anya from Buffy. Like, I wanted her to have like a bigger role and another like role in the MCU moving forward. Um,
yeah.
it seems like it's just going to be a one-off, but it's still fine.
Yeah. I yeah, same here. I thought either Clea, like she looked like Clea, and then either I did like the theory of her being Emma Frost. That made sense. But I mean, as you say before, Will, like they're just taking their time to bring in the mutants into the MCU, and and so I wasn't expecting that to either be Emma Frost, but it could have been interesting, you know, direction to introduce her, instead of her being a villain or like a member of the X-Men, like in the comics. So yeah, and then I guess to think to get this the show to wrap up, let's get into like the second like the second but post credit scene towards the end of the episode. What do you think about that? Like what they were trying to set up for Scarlet Witch now?
Well, I
Like,
think it's definitely going to be like the tie-in to Doctor Strange too, because she's studying
mhm,
her magic now, and she is astral projecting just like Doctor Strange did in his movie
mhm.
to like read the Darkhold, which was cool. Um, I liked that it sounded like she was, or she could like hear Billy at the end there,
Yeah,
which
that
means that they're like out there somewhere.
or
It's interesting.
yeah, or like maybe she's trying to maybe correct them for real, and
Could be.
and because I'm trying to figure out, like, because we, in the comics, like, it was one of those weird things, like, I say it, like, Mephisto, um, like, trick Wanda to correct them, right?
Right, right.
And maybe that could be, like, either, like, instead of Mephisto and Doctor Strange, too, it will be maybe Dormammu, the one tricks Wanda to correct them, and, and et cetera, right?
Could
That
be.
could,
Yeah, I
you
also
know,
know that like for Billy and Tommy, like after the thing with Dormammu, the way that they were reintroduced later was
mhm.
like um, their souls had been real, and then
Ah,
after they were destroyed, they like went into other like newborns and grew up as different people, and then started manifesting the like powers, but they had the same like personality and stuff, which is
okay.
very convoluted and comic booky. But yeah, it could just be that they're like out there somewhere, and Wanda
Yeah.
just needs to find them.
Yeah, or in another dimension, like another
Yeah,
multiverse. That could be,
multiverse. Yeah,
yep, and then that could be the way they do it. That's another thing, Yeah, yeah. It was kind of interesting. Like, I have a question. Do you think Scarlet Witch is the main bad guy? Like,
in the show.
no, 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 not in the show. For Doctor Strange too. Like, you think is she gonna be a main villain?
I don't think she will be, but I think
Okay,
it's possible.
possible. Okay,
Like based on the description the of Doctor Strange 2, I think it's vague enough that you could interpret it as uh, Mordo or Scarlet Witch. But I really doubt it's going to be Scarlet Witch.
no, she'll be more just like how you say, a pawn to the bigger, like, villain plot. Like, how you say, Mortal. If we're gonna do, like, like, Mortal does work with Dormammu in the comics and other media. If you've seen, like,
Mm-hmm.
the animation shows and stuff, like, Mortal can trick Wanda saying, "Hey, I have this higher person that I know can bring your kids back," and she can. That's how Polly, you know, Harkness is maybe telling the truth, but not in the way I think we're thinking it. Like, the reason why is going to do the bad things is probably she's trying to get her children back, because she's being led to, these two other, you know unknown villains. We don't know, like, because no one probably doesn't know that, Mordred is turned into the dark side, because now he's going to kill all, the main remaining, sorcerers or witches, that they
Yeah,
don't. He thinks they're abusing the power, right? After we
yeah,
saw in the first Doctor Strange film, right?
yeah.
And that's how I think it could go in that direction.
It could also just be that he tries to kill Wanda after learning about what she did in Westview. And then
Oh, that's
Wanda
a.
goes to Doctor Strange for help and to start like learning from him.
I totally dig that idea. Will, you are so good with these ideas to me, and I think that's actually makes more sense. I think that's probably where they're probably gonna go with that Strange too. Um,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I'm just curious. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, it's weird how they show like Toll's Scarlet Witch. Like, either she's a villain or a hero, and
Mhm.
I kind of like they're doing that, but then at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like I don't know. I it's because and by the way, it was kind of like it feels like the Phoenix still,
Yeah.
it's like they're making the Scar Witch in like the now like making it into this like Phoenix Force of the NCU, and that's
Hmm.
interesting. And so like I'm a little perplexed and just intrigued what they're doing with this character. But hey, it happens in the comics, right? I mean,
Hmm.
it's just they do so many this in the comic books, and it's just like wow. Um, yeah, and then anything else we have to cover besides that? I think we cover everything, right? Um,
Yeah.
is anything else you want to mention? Well, you want to discuss um, before we just sign off?
That's what I can think of.
Okay. Well, well, um, when is Falcon and the Winter Soldier premiere in March
Uh,
19th, right?
yeah, less than 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay. Oh my God, that's oh my God, we're almost there to that show. I'm very excited to see that show. I'm very intrigued where we're gonna take, especially Sam Wilson. I'm very intrigued where we're gonna take him, and I'm very excited to see Zemo again. That's another character I'm very excited for coming back in the show.
Yeah, me too.
Da, 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 da. I'm just yes, March 19th. Okay, and for the next 2 weeks, I guess, I think next Sunday we should do the Dark World podcast, to get that over with. Because we were doing that sequel podcast.
Okay.
We did Iron Man 2,
Yeah,
so we want to do that.
yeah,
To wait for the show to come out. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so all right, so I'm very excited for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The trailer looked great. Uh, anything you think? You think? Oh no, they're just doing one episode, not like the 2 episode
Yeah.
premiere. So I was kind of curious if they're gonna do that for this show. So
Uh,
no. So okay, I think that's it. Well, thank you for talk discussing this show for the last 9 weeks. It was really fun. I think it was really fun. It was just a pleasure to discuss this episodes with you.
yeah, it's
And
been fun. It's been good talking to you.
yeah, and I think this show was I think it's the best show we have for this year. For 2021. Um, I think it was a good start for Phase 4. I think.
Yeah, this was the like Marvel property that I was looking forward to the most. I
Mm,
feel pretty satisfied with it. So
cool.
yeah,
I have a question. So that was your number one. What's your number two? I'm curious.
um, I mean that was like a pretty high number one. Um,
Oh, okay.
but probably Doctor Strange too,
Okay.
or Thor.
Thor 4. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love Taika Waititi, so I need
Okay.
more of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I'm very excited to talk about Thor: The Dark World with you, and
Yeah,
just see how, like, we had to thank Taika to like reboot and reinvent Thor. After the second film just just did so bad, Thor in that film. Um, I will say my second like it like show or movie I'm very excited to see is Loki. Second
Okay.
is Loki. I'm very excited to
Yeah.
see that, and and I think that cheesy trailer we got like last December and that Disney Invest Day, it was very amazing. It was
Yeah. That
it
trailer surprised me. It's definitely got me excited.
yeah, and I feel like that made me just pumped to see that show of Loki. And then I will say third will be Doctor Strange too, because I'm very excited to see that as well. So, well, I think so. We're agreed. Next Sunday we'll probably discuss Thor: The Dark World and just and then after that, folks, we'll discuss Falcon and the Winter Soldier when that comes out in March 19 on a Friday, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll continue discussing Falcon and the Winter Soldier for the next 6 weeks because this is going to be more shorter than WandaVision, of course. So, well, everyone, thank you so much for listening to the spoiler talk of WandaVision episode 9, the series finale. Thank you, folks, for continue supporting my channel of Motorboss channel and listening to these 9 episode spoiler talk podcasts. And guys, just wait and see for the next 4 spoiler talks on Thor: The Dark World and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Well, folks, have a nice weekend and have a nice day.